Welcome back to part 5. So, I'm going to just obscure that for a moment. And part 5, Jamila, is on another question you had. Again, a lot of people ask about this because essentially one of the most common problems in these situations is there's too much of this. We're talking too much. As I've said on another video, this is quite antithetical to how I tend to work. I tend to prefer interactive learning through exercises and activities, which you're familiar with, Jamila, because I've worked with you in those contexts. So yeah, how can we get away from too much of this? So I've titled this Speaking with Brevity. It's a lovely word, brevity. It's not used very much, I notice. And it's not just, of course, a lovely word, but it can be a lovely experience for listeners. Yeah, so economy of speech. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got about half a dozen options for you on this. So, number 1. An obvious one, I think, this one. Have a time limit per person. It's a common thing, isn't it? But interestingly, it's not common practice. So, therefore we agree, okay, everyone's got 1 minute, 60 seconds, or 120 seconds to explain their idea. Now, invariably, in many quarters, people feel a bit embarrassed about interrupting someone when they've gone over time. So, if you want to, use this to help you all. Are we all agreed that when the alarm goes off, that's time? Yeah, that's good. Okay. And let this do the chairing work for you of the meeting. Okay, so try that if you wish. Sometimes, not always of course, play around with this. So for example, you can say, okay, for this section, for this next section of the session, we all agreed that we'd like to try brevity in terms of how many words or sentences we use. Yes, we are. So it could be in a word, in 3 words, in 5 words, in 1 sentence. Obviously, be careful with 1 sentence because, of course, that can be anywhere between 2 and 1 million words. So, you might want to agree roughly the length of the sentence. 20 words or less, a bit like Twitter. So yes, so that can be extremely productive. You can do it individually first, for example. Okay, everyone, go silent. What's the first word that comes to your mind? Or pick 1 word to describe your experience. Then we share the words. Generally speaking, if you've got a lot of people in the room, as you sometimes have, you said 5 to 8, I would do quite a bit of that. Because going around one person at a time saying, so what are your 8 words? Okay, what are your 8 words? Then brainstorming first, well, 1 word would be, well, I guess 1 word would be, because it's there's loads of, capture the words first, then share. Show first and or solely. So, to repeat, we draw or write first, individually, then we can say, okay, let's go around 1 person at a time, show only, no talking. Okay everyone, here's mine. Spend a few seconds taking it in, and then you can talk. Okay. I thoroughly recommend you do that quite a bit. If you have written lists, each, invite everyone to write clearly, and then I suggest you all start by reading in silence first, then talk. It's generally quicker and easier. And therefore, you'll notice a technique I've used with your team before and yourself, Jamila, is what I call the art gallery technique. Art gallery technique, whereby you place your productions onto the wall or on the table, or you pass them around if you're in a cafe, and in silence, first you all just and you look at all of them first in silence. It can be an excellent technique. Another one we've already covered is pre-records to a time limit. So we agree, okay, everyone's going to come in with a 30-second video on their phone or a 60-second video on their phone. And the video is, again, of images and or words. Yeah. To repeat, use various forms of equipment. We've been talking about using post-it notes, cards, mobile phones. We also discussed, as you know, using objects. Anything to take the words out of it. Yeah. So again, play around with different types of equipment. And one more, last item on this is utilise if you wish, utilise a technique that I call bottom line responding. It's an exercise that I run on some courses. One of them is effective communication. It's great fun, and it's really quite intriguing as well. So the idea is that you speak with brevity, economy of speech. I'll send you the handout. It's 2 pages, and it gives examples of bottom line responding. A simple version of this, of course, is think first before you speak, and when you speak, you can only use 6 words. Yeah. This comes in other forms. Check out the handout and I'll send it to you. And let me just check that that's on the list. Yes, that's one of the 6 handouts I showed you at the beginning in part 2, I think it was. Okay, excellent. That's part 5. Part 6 coming up. Okay, part 6, here we go. Just a couple of examples of games that you can possibly use, and you'll notice that I referred you to the 101 series, which is brilliant, and you know, lots of childhood games that we used to play. We discussed that as well, and others. So here are 3 more. Number 1, I call this blue tack. It's over there, I won't bother. Blue tack or plasticine. Everyone gets a lump of blue tack each, or plasticine if you wish, and you have to mould the idea rather than using words or a drawn image. And it can be fantastic fun. You tend to need to put a tight time limit on it, i.e. you've got 30 seconds to make ... and you make it using blue tack and plasticine. Great fun, People tend to really laugh and excuse me, enjoy themselves. Again, can be extremely creative. So, game number 1, plasticine or blue tack. Number 2, toy figurines. If you want to, get hold of some toy figurines. If you have children, you're probably fine, you've probably got hordes of them. If not, charity shops give this. Go into a charity shop and for like $1, $2, you can usually pick up some figurines from a board game or Lego figurines or dollies and that kind of thing, you know. So the idea is that you get a number of figurines. Maybe you'll bring one in each, and if there's 8 of you, now you've got 8. And the idea is that you explain an idea using the figures. And again, this can be very entertaining, very funny, very creative. So for example, you might say, well, I want to propose to you all an idea for the, say, a book. And this is the story of a female pioneer whose name is Zion. And Zion has a sister, and her sister's name is Shahiba or whatever, you know. Now, once upon a time, Zion and her sister were walking down the road and they met a creature, you know, and so on. So it can start to become very, very engaging, really enjoyable, and you can pre-decide your story, or I'd urge you sometimes to just not do that, just start expressing it, see what happens. If you hit a dead end, it doesn't matter. If you dry up, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, keep going, see what happens. So toy figurines for brainstorming ideas or explaining current ideas can be a fantastic way to get the creative mind moving. Game number 3, the last game suggestion. I touched on this in a different way with you in our conversation. This game is called Which Family Member or Which Friend. So the idea is that you present an idea. It can be an image, a word, or spoken to camera, whatever. But it didn't come from you. It came from a family member or a friend of yours. So you present the idea first, say in 30 seconds, and then you ask the audience which family member or friend came up with this idea. And if you want, you can show them a list of the names. Was it A, my grandmother, B, my grandfather, C, my partner, D, you know, my best friend Vic. And you can turn it into a bit of a quiz. Get them to guess, find out who it was. Often, it leads to further questions. When you give the answer, say, well, the answer is, it was my grandmother. People can say, really? Your grandmother came up with that idea? Well, how did she know that? How did she do that? Da 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 da. Creates great dialogue. So, there you go. Play around with that if you like to. Which family member? And so that's it. We are there. That's part 6. I'm just checking the clock. That's part 6. So hopefully there are a few things there for you to use, surely, in addition to the handouts, Jamila. So I hope that answers your questions. If it does, great. If you still have some things you need, as you know, let me know, as you know, and I will happily make you more videos as we go through. So do make me work for you. That's what I'm here for. And to the rest of the general public, thank you very much indeed as well. And please subscribe and like the channel. I'd really appreciate it if you found this relevant and helpful. That would really help me too. And yeah, I wish you all the best. And Jamila, happy creative weekly sessions. I'm genuinely keen to hear how they run. Remember, you know, try them at least 3 times each, see where you go, and yeah, I wish you all the best. Thanks very much, take care, and see you around.